means to me, to us, and why it's a special experience to be part of it. And my first hackathon experience actually was in like 2 years ago when I went to Copenhagen and where I met Damon and where we participated in the hackathon. And I really didn't know what to expect. And what stood out for me is, beside all the people that I got to know there, was the openness, obviously, that you can talk with each other. And it's not like an event where we would go home tonight and thought, hey, great inputs, and it's really cool that we could talk about it, but then go home and back into our daily business and forget about most of it. It's really about being here the entire weekend, coming back tomorrow, coming back on Sunday, just deepening the conversations and really producing something. And I think that's the big difference to the many digital events that we see around, where we sit, we hear, we talk, and then we go home. It's really much more that we can do. And that's why I'm so happy that last year's hackathon was a big success. And I had much more time last year to organize everything. This year with my company and everything, things became a bit tighter, but nonetheless, I'm really happy that I convinced myself that it's worth doing it again. And I hope you guys agree that it's the case. And so let's have a really great weekend here together. And so my hackathon experience is only like 2 years old, basically. One in Zurich, one in Copenhagen, one in Munich, just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm really happy, Damon, that you're here as well. As I think we wouldn't be here without you, to be honest, because you organized the AEC Hackathon series and you kicked it off 10 years ago, probably just
2013, so 12 years ago. So for those that want to know, first of all, show of hands. How many people here, this is the first time you've been to a building industry hackathon? Super, super, awesome. How many of you were here last year? Okay, welcome back, everyone. I don't remember your names. I apologize. That's bad on me. And I'm sorry, I'm short. Max, you're tall. So I've got to do this. Okay, much better. I like looking at people. Yeah, so just to kind of touch a little bit onto this, because this is what's been neat about seeing this open source construction hackathon, is what comes out of this event. So I'm a technologist that has been in the built environment sector since 2007. And the idea was, how many people here are actually from the built environment industry? You're not a student, you're spend more time building stuff than coding things. Raise your hand. Okay, super. This event is for you. When I started this event 60 events ago now, can you believe that? This is our 60th event in Silicon Valley. It was for industry, by industry, to solve our problems. So since day one, it was you come with what you want to solve and solve a Monday through Friday problem that could be implemented on Monday. Now, what's neat is as it's gone over the 12 years, we've had people that we use this as an opportunity to come, and then they can propose challenges as well. But I will be a person to say that do take a look at that. But remember, at the core, this is about the industry being able to solve its own problems, right? So you have those options, that flexibility. And then it's been neat to see that how there is no right or wrong way to do the hackathon. Yeah, you find a team, as Max said, that's where we've had fun collaborating because everything's organic. So I don't know, what would you like to see come out of this weekend, Max? That's what I would ask you.
For me, most important are happy faces, to be honest. I think we saw it before that, like, when we talk about the challenges that we face in our everyday business, it feels like we can't tackle them at all. They're too huge. And you can't, how much you keep fighting, things are just not moving. And in a weekend, it's incredible to see how much you can actually do if you sit with a group of talented and motivated people. Just sit and do something, and you got so much further than with 10 internal meetings, talking about a problem, inviting some other experts. Just like that's not a way that we keep moving. I think smiling faces, feeling empowered, feeling, no, there are other people that have faced the exact same challenges. Let's rather talk to them and not to the ones that say it's impossible and this will not change and whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that's where, again, please remember this weekend, have a shitload of fun, learn things. If you can't find a group, still push yourself to learn something new. And do talk, don't clump together. How many of you came here together with someone else? Okay, y'all don't be on the same team, don't be lame, all right? So like mix it up, make some friends, And then also what would be neat is collaborate with other people, because I'd like to say that maybe perhaps the judges are inclined to give more points to teams that actually work together. And I would emphasize this as a surprise to you, because the whole idea of open source is about collaboration and people in different places seeing how their stuff can merge back. So I'd really be impressed to see who forms a team and just does their thing, but then who remembers the idea of what open source is about, the whole idea of openness, and says, hey, our solution does X, but we went and helped with that. And I think that would be something I would love to see out of this, in addition to smiling faces.
Absolutely. And that's the way we set it up now is that we onboarded partners and went through some process of what could be an interesting challenge. And I also would encourage you guys to use these challenges as a field of experimentation. They give you some sort of context, but there are many ways to solve it. The most important thing is to get moving and build a prototype, however abstract it is, however unrealistic it is, but just to keep moving and use the opportunities that we created here for you now. And I'm pretty sure that for almost every problem that you would have, someone in the audience is here that could at least help you to point you in a direction how to solve it. So don't hesitate to go around. We have plenty of opportunities when we lunch, when we have dinner, when we just meet, to really go and ask people blunt questions. And that's where you learn the most, I guess, right?
Well, absolutely. And if you don't have a professional on your team from the industry, you don't have a complete team, right? Because I mean, again, and this is where I would also say, this is about solving problems. Now, Zurich, y'all do it your way. I'm not going to be one to come in and say the rest of the world solves industry issues, right? That's why we make it very much about applied innovation. So if a team does want to go more theoretical and build something that could be neat in 20 or 30 years, that's fine. You do you. But just remember that at the core of what this is about solving that Monday through Friday problem. So that way, when you go into work on Monday, you're a little less frustrated than you were before. So options, it's fun.
Exactly. So let's move on, I would say. Everyone is hungry. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you and thank you all for the weekend. Have a blast. I'm here for if you need.
I'll make it as short as possible. I guess everyone understood the concept by now. Like, we started now a bit late because we already introduced the beers before the event. We will now go through a bit of the organizational part and then introduce the challenges from our partners. After this, we will move up into the restaurant where we have prepared the apéro riche to get some food, and then slowly move back down again into the main hall where we prepared posters where the groups can actually form. The idea is that everyone who's offering a challenge stands in front of one of these posters, and the participants then can go from one poster to the other and really learn about what the challenge is, who is working there already. And then with a beer and just some open questions, teams will form. And either you start hacking tonight, which is absolutely feasible, some did last year, or you start tomorrow in the morning. It's totally up to you. And we will welcome you back again at 9. We have a little bit of breakfast out there. And then it's really about working together and doing what Damon and me just introduced to you. Alex, do you want to come and introduce the facilities very quick? Do we start with the house rules before we move to the challenges?
So hello, everybody. You saw me before doing some janitorial work. If you have some questions regarding the space, the infrastructure, the toilets, if something breaks down, you can either find me or Konrad around here. I think this floor plan is a bit shitty and it has changed in the meantime, but you made it here, which is good, right? So you might have entered probably from here, perhaps from up there. There's 2 entrances. Worst case, you could also exit from here. The main path we envisioned would be the long one, but most people took this one. It's just important you know that the classrooms are separated across the entire space and they're numbered. You will then find on the classrooms the numbers, and somehow we will assign you to the rooms. Please take care about the university. Generally, the furniture is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Don't break it, please. and we try to return the drinks to where they came from. Yeah, fire escapes and stuff like this, you know about it. And I think that's it. If you, for some reason, want to buy chocolate more or get some good coffee, there's like a cafe and a bistro just outside with decent coffee, but worst case, I think this also gets you fired up. There's also a mall down the way, I would say maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes walking, and a McDonald's and a gas station 24/7 if you're into this. Most of you came from the city and from the train, and that's maybe 10 minutes down this way. I think that's all I have in my brain. Thank you.
That was pretty good. Maybe a couple more things. The blue thing up there, or purple, whatever, that's where we now. When we're done here, we're gonna go up the stairs that are right out the store, 2 floors up, and that's where the food's gonna be. And if you want to grab a beer before you go up there, grab it down here. Upstairs we have water and wine, and I think everyone will be taken care of. Right, and yeah, I think this is really pretty much it. The yellow spaces, as Alex said, they've shifted a little bit, but tomorrow you'll be able to find them, and we'll help you find them around. Right, thanks guys. Okay, yeah, we have one more thing. Wi-Fi. Maybe for those of you who are really good at remembering things, don't take a picture. But if you're not so good at remembering things, just snap a picture. Yeah.
Communicate.
And move out of the way so you guys can snap a picture. Yeah. So these are the two options. If for some reason it doesn't work or you lose information, just come talk to us. All right, that's it. And you.
This is us when Konrad mentions us in terms of the people that did it. I think you know the top line for sure. So Hannah, Vincent, and Manuel helped a lot in the back. Probably if you guys quickly stand up so people see you. Thanks a lot for your efforts in making this event happen. Vincent's left already, I guess. And one last thing, we did bring again mandarins or clementines, and it was really appreciated last year, but it was really interesting to find places where people would put them throughout the weekend. So if you would take a bit care of it, it would makes our life much easier on Monday to clean it up. And 2 more little announcements before we start. We have Kim here from ETH. Probably if you quickly introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kim. I am here this weekend in the service as ethnographer. So that means that I will not be part of the hackathon as a team member. And you will sort of find me around doing observations, taking photographs as well, and taking some notes. So if you are not happy with that, please let me know. A little bit about my background. I work at the ETH Zurich and at the NCCR Digital Fabrication as a researcher, looking into innovation processes and also collaboration behind innovation processes, trying to sort of understand under which conditions innovation processes are fostering and under which conditions they are not. And therefore, the hackathon is obviously a very interesting sort of space and time within which to understand and observe innovation processes in practice. My colleague was already here last year, and I'm sort of taking the torch and continuing the ethnography this year. If you have some questions immediately sort of after what I said now, come to me after this intro here, and I will be here during the evening as well, and you can sort of let me know if there's something on your mind. I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Kim. Thanks a lot. And we have even more people here that are really interested in innovation, coming far away from Manchester and Kyoto. So if you...
Okay, Max. I know everybody's very hungry, so I'll just try to finish it earlier. Okay, so my name is Clara Chung. I'm a researcher from University of Manchester in the UK, and Charmaine from Kyoto Institute of Technology, and Benjamin is from ETH. Okay, so it's very nice to be in the hackathon. Okay, I know you guys will develop some cutting edge technology through this event. But let me ask you a question. if you develop the technology and nobody's going to use it, how do you feel? Useless, right? Okay. So that's the reason why we want to study human-centric design, okay? Because it is very a center. If you design something that is using this principle, that probably will help the adaptation of the technology. And this is a typical example. We show it here. Anybody knows what is this? This is exoskeleton, okay? People developed it since 5-10 years ago. Very good technology to help to alleviate the risk, but the problem is the adaptation rate is very low. Okay, so that's the reason why, as I said, we want to study the human-centric design and how that will affect the transformation of the technology. So what you need to do is to help us to fill in a 5-minute survey, because in that survey, we're going to ask your opinion. What are the criteria to evaluate human-centric design for the technology transformation in construction? And the interesting part is, because this result is going to showcase in Osaka Expo. Anybody know what is Osaka Expo? Ah, okay, very good. Okay. So if you're interested to showcase your product as well, which you're going to hack in this event in Osaka Expo, you can also indicate in our survey. We're more than willing to help you. All right. So I think that's it about our work. So please join us, okay, through this journey. Thank you very much, Max.
Thank you. All right, so let's get moving with the challenges. Victor, if I can ask you. So the idea is now that we have the partners introducing the challenges, taking the time into account.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so.
It's this one,
I guess maybe start a little bit before from the. Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Victor Soloboy. I work at ETH Zurich as a data scientist in the Department of Engineering and Systems. And yeah, I also work with Michael at Herzog & de Meuron on his team. And today I'm presenting our challenge that has been, chasing us like ever since I started like 2 years ago. And the challenge is like, how do we get, how do we get new data, new insights from our existing cache of data sources? And in this case, we want to look at our plans of buildings, at the building documentation, and extract the embodied carbon footprint. So yes, thank you. So yeah, the previous slide was about the ETH Zurich in general. So as you might feel it, ETH has a vast real estate portfolio. So the campus alone has around 50 buildings with around 300,000 square meters. That's huge. And ETH is also committed to environmental goals. So here you can see the summary of ETH Net Zero program until 2030. And so some different measures, and we can see this steady monotonic curve going downwards and at some point intersecting the horizontal axis, indicating negative carbon emissions. But as we know it, or as we kind of can estimate it, it won't be that smooth and it won't be monotonic at all. So here you can see a diagram of built of total area, total available area at the campus versus the average age of a square meter. And each of those jumps indicates some CO2 expenses, be it because of the refurbishment renovation, or be it because of like some building was turned down. So yeah, and at this point we ask ourselves, so where do we actually stand? So on that smooth curve that goes from somewhere to zero. So where is that somewhere where we start? So what is our actual CO2 footprint, which consists, as you might know, from several scopes, and how can we precisely know that we are actually here and not there? And then when we know it, so we ask ourselves, so how do we reach our sustainable development goals that ETH and Switzerland sets for itself, and what our actual path there is going to be? Yeah,
So, and this is the core, the questions which lie in the core of our challenge. And we brought quite some data, from our side, and we envisioned like the following workflow just for you to get to know like what is interesting, what is expected. So we have like data, building plans, images from which we have to extract certain features, which will be like building elements or whatever. So then we will have like other data sources beyond plans, which are textual descriptions, which are like images. So we have to match data. We have to like map different data sources and bring them together. And this must bring us to insights, which is in our case CO2 footprint. But it shouldn't be like this. So it can be anything else. So as you might see, the data set is quite diverse and quite large, and we can build anything. So we can just extract building components. We can make like visualization. So, and yeah, make predictive models of carbon expanse, anything and anything in between. And yeah, so, and this is just, so what we bring, what is already here. So we have representation of built infrastructure. So in the form of 2D plans in CAD or PDF format, or images, or they can be converted between all of them. We have maintenance logs, which shows us like the status and the condition of different objects. Yeah, also more data on materials and what buildings consist of. It's actually not so easy if you look at this wall to tell what's behind it. And this is what we want to kind of overcome, because like averaging things and using the average and pre-concept phase data is not precise enough for us. Yes, and yeah, very much looking forward to new insights and ideas and collaborating on this.
Is there any immediate question? If not, you will find Victor later outside. Thank you very much. So Arno, if I might ask you to the stage.
Timer. All right. Hi, my name's Arno. I work for Esri. We're the leaders in geospatial software. Usually when I tell this, my relatives and friends, they don't know what I'm talking about. But tonight I have some hope that some of you probably have worked with geodata or have used tools like ArcGIS. My colleagues and I that are here tonight, we work for the Esri R&D in Zurich, where we specifically focus on 3D interactions and visualizations, such as this 3D city model of Zurich. And one of the things that we want to achieve is make this data, this information, more accessible to anyone, not just GIS specialists, but also, for example, the public or stakeholders. For example, through web technology, to improve the way cities are built. So one of our missions is provide tools to support city planners to build better cities. And we didn't come tonight to Winter Tour to discuss what makes a better city. Instead, we want to focus on our challenge, which is PermitPal. So this is a possible name for a tool that we would like you to build. And the idea of the tool is essentially to support city planners that have their regulations, have their GIS data, which you see on the right side, and then receiving plans for new developments, essentially coming from BIM, and making sure that these regulations are fulfilled. And so the idea is that we basically implement simple checks, like, for example, hey, what is the height of that building compared to the terrain? Or what is the floor area for a specific building compared to the parcel? And we know in theory that this information can be contained in an IFC model, for example, that there's attributes for it. But one thing I've already learned tonight is that it's okay to say shit on stage. And so we're just going to call it out. A lot of these IFC models that our users receive in the city planning department are basically shit, because a lot of that information is missing. And this is where we would like you to try to get this information out of IFC models, even if it doesn't come in the way it's expected. Maybe it's even just indicating what is missing or what parts are actually there. Personally, I would love to see someone throw some AI, for example, at the geometry of an IFC model and just try to derive this directly without the attributes. We bring a bunch of data, so specifically GIS data. We have a lot of contextual data, like we saw before, 3D buildings, terrain. We also have a few IFC models. Some of them are more complete, some of them not. They're realistic. For us, it's even just interesting to see if a model is in meter and feet or in feet. Yeah, and then of course we have a bunch of tools to visualize this data in a geospatial context. This is the team that's here with me tonight and the rest of the weekend. And I just want to mention here that we're also looking for new team members in Zurich that help us solve some of the challenge that I mentioned. Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for being with us, Anna. Quite exciting. Yeah, we keep the questions for later, I think. Let's move on. You guys?
So we are a group of 3 companies, 2 companies and 1 school or university, and also Fabian from University of Munich or Applied Science in Munich, yes. And we are 2 timber construction companies who try to find the connections between elements. So our challenge is find the connection. We are companies who do prefabricated timber elements, and it's relatively easy to find the right system for walls and ceilings and roofs, but it's not easy to find the right connections, because if you mix systems, you have a huge variety of different connections have to be found, and connection have to be solved. And that's why we search today and this weekend a lot of solutions. What is wood construction industry defined by? So we do a really precise planning within predefined systems and a high degree of detailing. It's all 3D based, 3D model. And we need connections that work on site. So we don't need theoretical connections. We really need practical connections.
And now I have to describe the problem. So the problem sounds really easy, but it's actually pretty difficult, because everything that we're talking about in BIM typically is parts and never the connections between the parts. If we want to put things together that are prefabricated offsite, they have to fit, or otherwise we're on the problem. But we're lacking the language and we're lacking the methodology to actually talk about connections between parts. So what's called design for manufacture and assembly, making that all happen, is actually not working in BIM yet, because we cannot even simulate what's going on when we put 2 things together. And we need that also, Michael needs that to come up with an offer if someone asks him in a tender stage, and a few other things. So what we're asking is to find those connections in an IFC model. So say you have an IFC model with rather abstract walls and slabs. How are they basically coming together, and what's happening there? Because what's happening there is in the catalog of an engineer, say, yeah, there's typed connection details, but there's never a connection between the catalog that you have on a PDF and the model that you actually work in there. And what we need to find is how many different types of connections are in there if you have all those walls there. How many of them are there? How long are they? How many screws will we need to put them together? So the idea is to take a rather abstract hull model in IFC and identify those connection types. Problem is, what we also only have is shitty IFC that we get from architects typically. Yeah. The pre-problem sort of is, okay, we need to come up with this abstracted model with just the hull volumes of the elements, because typically what we get is a lot of detailed information that no one really needs. Find those connections, and then maybe think also about the following problem. How do we put them back into whatever digital model that someone else can need? So that would be sort of an IFC++ model. We had IFC 5 up there, which is maybe the next version that we're seeing in 10 years from now, but we don't know. So come up with a good idea of how to put also connections back into the model. That's basically it. Yeah, we need that. If you come up with ideas, what we can provide you with is a bunch of shitty IFC models from the practice, and a Cadwork if someone wants to work with an actual timber construction software with all the attributes and building element types and so on and so forth. Quite some expertise in wood construction, a lot of process knowledge and what's happening out there in reality, and very little coding experience. So that's what we're looking for. The team will be around. Michael already vanished behind me. My name is Fabian, and then we have Edita from BFH who will also lead the challenge. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. You will also be around, obviously, later for more detailed questions. All right, so then the next timber construction challenge, I'll hand over to Luca.
Thank you. So you may remember the guy with the 3 problems earlier this afternoon, Marcus. He already pitched a little bit our challenge. I'm Luca, and I have a couple problems more than Marcus. First is I was elected, very serious election, a couple of minutes ago to pitch this challenge. And those minutes I thought about why I did, or why I said, or I accepted that let's say pitch or challenge or election. And I came up with a solution because I think it's worth it. It's worth it because I think we could do in the next couple of days, so we could create something that is beneficial for the wooden industry. I really do. And our project is called Project Talking. You have to imagine we are a growing industry, or let's say it like this: we are a growing company, and what comes with growing in the company, that the processes are back or later on. So what we want to do, we have a shitload of interfaces, and we would like to streamline this in the end. And let me talk about a little bit about what's going on in the wood construction industry. Michael already said we are on a very individual path. So everything we do is produced once, or engineered to order, produced once, and it's never the same part twice. And we pre-produce very much and in a very automated way, and that has its challenges, you can imagine, and therefore we have different systems, we have different interfaces, and we need to streamline this. And what's happening right now is the projects in the wooden industry are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have to cooperate between companies, and this has its challenges. You have to imagine one part in a big building is produced in the south of Switzerland by a small company. The other part is produced in the eastern part of Switzerland by another company. And at the construction site, it all has to stick together. And you can imagine it's not only that the part is manufactured in its in its very much in its detail, it is as well that it is produced at the right time and delivered on site. So you need a lot of data. It's not only the production data, it's material management and it's sales information, it's scheduling information as well. So it's a lot of data that we have to transform at some points to different systems which are not that let's say from an interface perspective, not that sophisticated at the moment. So there is a lot of potential actually. So we are, I think we are five companies. I think design to production is missing on that slide. But as I said, I was elected a couple minutes ago, so I'm sorry for that. No, yeah, let me talk a little bit about that problem. I'm here from BORM. I am a woodworker actually who made its way to into IT, and let me say it in a craftsmanship language. We are BORM kind of, or as an ERP system, kind of in the middle of it, well positioned, but we are used to get data from some point, transform it, and give it back to some point. But if the number of interfaces is rising, it makes it that much complex, and we have a lot of data redundancies as well in this information flow. So we'd like to unify this, we like to streamline this, and we like to reduce the amount of interfaces through the whole process. So I think I already talked a lot about what we want to create, and I think it's a prototype of how we can streamline this or reduce these interfaces, streamline the information flow through the different systems with its companies. We have 5 companies well positioned in the woodworking industry, bringing a lot of know-how as well. Some data, of course, to be able to build up such a prototype in the end. Yeah, and I think I already talked a little bit about what we will bring. Of course, some data about a lot of different know-how from the woodworking industry, and you will see definitely in the talk with us that all of these systems within the process are mandatory and have its own perspective of over this data. And the challenge is to fulfill these needs, but still have it in one database or one location or one process in the end. Yeah, these are 3 of the, I think, a lot of guys which will participate at this challenge the next couple hours or couple days, and I would be happy if we could get into that challenge deeper, and I would be very happy if we can reduce at least one of my problems. Therefore, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Luca. So next one is Furio and Team Implenia.
Hello everyone, I'm Furio Sordini, work in Implenia in real estate products, and yeah, we are happy to be here. We have an eye-open, interesting challenge that we can work together on. So we have not a fancy name, we have a complicated name. We try to make it shorter. It was impossible, but I hope it kind of starts to give you a grasp of what we want to do. So we are working on industrialized construction, on productization. So we try to make a reference design, a product that is repeatable, that can be adapted to different project requirements, and that it's co-created with the user. So like the human centricity discussion we had before, I find it very interesting. And we are targeting the housing market in Germany and Switzerland, multifamily housing. And we work with timber construction, and we created a kit of parts, so a kit of elements, Lego blocks that we can put together to adapt it in our reference design. But then the question is, yeah, what about other projects that are not conceived with our reference design, with our system? How can we use all the knowledge that we gathered while creating the kit of part in a normal standard design? And that's our ask. That's what we are trying to understand with you in this competition. We have an envisioned workflow where we solved one big step, So we think that graph representation of the floor plan is very beneficial. We think that the adjacency that a graph database gives, it's a key factor for the success. But we don't know how to compare a reference design, our normal floor plan, the one that you see on below the slide, with a generic design that you see on the top left. How can we compare them? How far are they from each other? What is the metric? What is the right metric to compare them? And then once we have a metric that says maybe there is a part of this candidate floor plan that resembles the reference design, then we try to pick this part, this 3D module, this element, and we try to adapt it or to use it in the candidate design. The benefit is to use this kit of part, these elements that we already know. You know how much they cost. We know CO2 emissions. We know who produces it, who delivers it. We know the delivery time. We know almost not everything, but a lot about this element over more projects, not only over reference design. So we said we have 3 steps, and we start with the second step, the comparer. So let's say we have a 2 graph representation of 2 different floor plan. How can we identify pieces or sub-graph that are similar to our reference design? And then the step 3, it's maybe more interesting. How can we cluster together this sub-graph and transport our kit of part in the candidate design? What we bring, I said we are bringing the interpreter. So we have a series of nasty floor plan that are not designed for manufactured assembly. We bring the reference design. So you have a graph representation of the reference design, and of course also the normal floor plan, so you can understand what is the logic behind. And we bring also the kit of parts, so our catalog, so you can understand what is the catalog and what is the benefit of using it in our project. So we're working together with the ZHAW, with Konrad, with Evan, with other people from Implenia, Julia, and the Jumping Cow from the University of Hong Kong. And we'll be here, and we are eager to start working on this project with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It'll be interesting to see how you document the connection between the elements actually in your graph. So might be some correlations. Okay, the last partner challenge before we go to audience challenges comes from a bigger group of people. Paul, very nice to have you again with us.
Thanks, Max, and hello also from our side. This year we are here as the second time we are here. The last year we were presenting Esri, that was the last year, and now we have a group combined with standardization bodies and building industry, and that's the challenge we will bring this year in. That means last year, the idea was to work only with open data and standardized data from Esri, for example, or other industries, they have open data. And now we will go one step deeper. That means our interest is to have support by machines to combine the open data with specific and very precise data you have in the company. That means plans, descriptions, and so on. And why the combination? Because in the open, in the standards, they are very general. But when we are in construction, we need more precise information to become better answers.
So the problem is not only that AI tends to mimic human personality and might come up with the wrong answers, but we need precise answers at the right time, the right information at the right time. It's not, and we will be seduced by AI to believe that sometimes building a wall is the right answer or invading Canada, while both is maybe the stupid idea to do. And in construction, we need to search not only within alphanumeric data, but also within plans, models, and graphical depictions. So AI has changed as AI has become available also for personal searching tools and for smaller platforms. And it has become deeper in the horizontal or the vertical searching patterns.
To illustrate basically what this problem, this issue that we have already is this. So we did just a test, as you would have done already with ChatGPT. We did a very specific question about a detail, a connection in a floor with the floor finishing with certain fire rating. This is what we got. The question was always, please give me some text, the data, norms, and stuff like that, and also a drawing. This is actually coming from it. We decided that we needed to be a little bit more specific on it. Somehow it got the wrong idea. Then it went a little bit sideways on the drawing side. It went a little bit more precise on the norms, on the norm side, on the text. Let's say we went a little bit further with the specification, but we didn't manage to get what we were actually looking for. But we managed to get some information directly from the industry. So those on there are the details from some company. Yeah, it's a pity because we do have the solutions in-house, but they are not, of course, connected with this thing. And then it's always like a big effort to gather exactly what we need, and or at least if we have something more or less close to it.
Yeah. And that's where we are now. That means the speed, it's perfect. We can receive very fast answers, but not the answer we need to solve our job. That means we are jumping like a rabbit from left to right, from left to right. At the end, we are on the same place. We don't have really an answer. And that's our challenge. That means for us, it's very important to combine that. That means open data, standard generic data, but we have to bring in this chatbot or in this knowledge base our own information, our own knowledge. And that's the challenge we have, that we have examples for that. That means when you can combine a machine with your real content, then you can receive better answers. And that's, for example, one possibility.
So we created such a platform, the knowledge base, we call it, from Building Smart Austria, where we provide open data, open knowledge for everyone to be derived through an AI search bot. But we would like to go on and combine it with your personal data. Personal data may be critical inside of data security, but it needs to be combined. If you want to get the right answer, you need to combine your personal data in construction with public available open knowledge. And this is our goal. We want to combine these two parts of the search, and we want to find it. We don't want to search, we want to find it, we want to get the right answer. We are partners within the whole industry. So it's planning partners, the building construction partners, standardization bodies, and contractors. What we can offer is to bring in practical examples for example, from the airport that I represent, Vienna Airport. We bring in mandatory regulation data that is open, but it contains also alphanumeric as well as graphical depiction that needs to be harvested and searched to answer question inside of the construction and planning. And this is our challenge, the Smart Search in Construction Challenge. What we can provide is the base, the staging platform, data, as well as the personal plans, designs, and data to search for. So, and this is our challenge. You can find us somewhere over in the hall.
Thanks. And yet again, we have to define connection points between different elements when we read them from plans. It's a recurring problem, obviously. Okay, so we have 2 more challenges to present before we can move to the dinner. Johannes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Johannes from Pennsylvania. We are an architecture and engineering office from Zurich. And with me today is Adrian from the optimization platform Vision. We are happy to introduce our challenge to you guys, which is called the IFC Data Bus. That's how we call it. The situation is that we as architects and planners face the problem of integration across tools, drivers into bottlenecks in the design process and hinder holistic project optimization. The OpenBIM method currently lacks in the bidirectional data exchange, we think, and we want to solve this problem by maybe particularly reintegrating data into CAD or CDEs. That's quite a challenge. There are solutions like Spectral, which are not prioritizing the OpenBIM compliances. So we think there's quite an opportunity to have a look on this and try to optimize that. Current problems which we suffer are tracing of the individual data fields is not possible. The authors are sometimes not really able to be assigned to the data fields. We need to know who did it and where's the information coming from. Sorry. And we also have the errors in the process due to manual transformation of information. And what we really suffer is the real-time data transformation is suffering a lot by linking the data. We are having a real-life problem here, so that's why we are bringing a real-life project. As you guys can see, this is the IFC model of the new ice hockey stadium in St. Moritz, and Adrian will tell you all about it now.
So, as mentioned, in today's world, IFC and OpenBIM is often a one-way street. You export the model as IFC, you put it into different analysis tools to get outcomes of it, but it's difficult to really reintegrate the data and close the loop to get data back and share it across different tools in your application landscape. And so how we envision this workflow is to have a publish and subscribe semantic that allows different tools to plug into. Different tools can publish different pieces of information and can subscribe to them. And this way we envision that it's possible on top of the standards IFC, IDS, and BSDD to share change sets of information across different tools. And therefore, we want to try this out, this workflow, with a concrete scenario of build-up and materials. It's like a concrete case that we want to try out. And it's an exploration. We don't have like a clear solution. It's a way to find out what are meaningful design principles to get there, what is a meaningful protocol to get there. And as an outcome of this challenge, we want, on one hand, you want to build a protocol based on OpenBIM that allows to distribute changes in different tools, and also a proof of concept to really prove that this is working and that the design intents really work out in practice. And we want to do this on one hand by having Archicat publishing changes in terms of the build-ups and materials to this IFC data bus, and then on the other hand have a dummy web client that subscribes to it, makes modifications, and synchronize it back so in a truly distributed and also bidirectional fashion. That's what we want to try out. And what we will bring is on one hand the test data, so IFC models, Archicat models, real-world cases, also sequence diagrams in terms of the message flow that we envision, like how shall that work together from a more software engineering perspective. And also we have access to the Archicat API. If nobody of you wants to code into Archicat, I can take over this role, but we have the access ready for it. It's written in C++. And we're a team of 4 people. Right now, already 2 more people joined a couple of minutes ago. And so we're looking for, people that are interested in building software, trying out new things, and being really interested into solving this challenge, because this problem is a very old problem. I guess it's more than 15 years old. And we believe everything is ready to really solve it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great team. And one last challenge from a single person this time. Really looking forward.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Michelle. I work here as an architect and a researcher. I honestly don't have a lot of coding skills, but Alex and Konrad told me I should try it anyway. So now I'm standing next to these big firms and big teams. In Switzerland, every year we throw away 500,000 tons of window glass. That's a lot. It's about 16 kilos per second. And only 11% of it is getting recycled. The last 2 years here at ZHAW with some carpenter, we developed a system that can bring old windows that no longer meet today's energetic standards into new reused windows that have the same or even better thermal properties that a brand new window. The big difference is that we only emit 10% of the CO2 of the production of a new window. The big problem, however, is that right now nobody knows what kind of window are installed where, what their properties are, and most importantly, when they are getting dismantled. Without all this information, big stakeholders, real estate companies, construction firms, recycling companies, architects, and even private building owner cannot take any informed decision whether they should reuse, recycle, or throw away their windows. So my challenge for this weekend aims to build a platform where this information can be stored and accessed privately or publicly. So real estate agency can put the window data on it way before it is getting disassembled. This allows them to plan the reuse of their own windows from dismantling projects into brand new ones. Smaller property owners often have no idea what kind of window they have. They have the possibility to answer a questionnaire, which helps them to identify their window and the potential of it. Once the window in the database, they are automatically analyzed. They receive each of them a reuse score, which indicates if the whole window can be reused, if the slashes, that's the part you can open at the window, can be reused, if the glass can be reused, or if at least it has potential to get recycled. And at the end, the different stakeholders are getting matched. So architects can find low CO2 windows, manufacturers can get some glass to reuse, and recycling companies can find some high quality raw materials. Now, most of you probably have better IT knowledge than I do, but I came prepared. I have over 5,000 windows that are documented. I have a lot of PDF that we can use to test AI recognition. I already have the data entry questionnaire, and we just tested the tool for the assessment or for the scoring, and it works. So we just have to implement it. And for those who don't really know if they want to work on Windows for a whole week, and put you the QR code. It's the website of the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So probably just two last remarks about the team formation. I think we mentioned it before. It's relevant that you have diverse skills, that it's like everyone is can feel part of it, and there will be lots of discussions, but there will also be a lot produced. That it's that you also find yourself as a team, just basic things basically, and don't worry to go around and ask us or others that have been here to do it. And I think the last one on the right hand side is also very important. Don't overcomplicate stuff. I think it's more important to get anything done instead of just losing yourself discussing complexities. We have interesting judges that will see and value your presentations on Sunday. It's Ursula Frick. She's not here. Allah is also not here yet, but Ronnie is here. So they'll be here, and we have 5 categories of prizes. So the best overall project, the best solves a big problem project, best mashup in terms of mixing technologies, best hack for humans, and best startup potential. Fairly straightforward and quite some prizes. And the criteria, we'll also put them somewhere out there if you want to look into them a bit more in detail. But I think Damon mentioned it in the beginning. It's really something, is your solution something that can be implemented on Monday? And I think that brings us back to where we started, saying, hey, we feel overwhelmed with the complexity of everything. I think the hackathon is the possibility to break it down into something that's, even if it's super small, but it's there. And you can continue working with it the other week. Then some things like how much code did you build? How complex is it in terms of difficulties? And then how impressive it is. But this is also very much related to your presentation. So don't underestimate the quality of a good presentation in the end. All right. Is there anyone who is coming up with another individual challenge, actually? Probably if you stand up and then people can see your face. You will see him later, and we'll be excited to hear what your challenge is. All right, so let's move up, grab some food, collect some energy, and then go back and have a beer and talk about teams.